Perfect. It gave us a little warning. We know it's good to go. All right. Thanks for those that were able to come tonight. Trisha, I hope you can hear us and can see us. We can't see you, so I hope you can hear us.
I hear you. I'm just trapped under a cat. So if I turn the camera
No,
on, you will just see cat butt.
no, all good. As long as you can hear us, that's good. So we've got Ash from Why Leave Town, who's going to run us through the Benalla Business Dollar program, why it's helpful for Benalla businesses, how you can sign up, and yeah, what benefits it's got for the businesses as well. So whenever you're ready, Ash, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Nathan. I'm going to share my screen here. So I'm just going to, I guess, bit of a, just to let you know beforehand, I've had no voice all weekend. And I usually lose my voice in most presentations I do. So tonight is guaranteed, I think. But my speech pathologist wife has got me a couple of glasses of water here to hopefully get me through it. So what I'll do, planning to do today is just to take you through a little bit about Why Leave Town, just so everyone has a bit of an idea, I guess, of where the Benalla gift card, where that concept has come from. And just to show a bit of some of the experiences and the history behind Why Leave Town and how we've gotten to where we are now, and where I guess some of the learnings we've found with some of our gift card programs around Australia. And then I'm going to take you through just how the Benalla gift card will work. And then I'm also going to share a few things in terms of what been some of the success factors we've seen in other programs, which will hopefully help your program launch successfully and have hopefully a long future as well. So what I'll do, I'm just going to share my screen and then we can kick off. So I'm assuming everyone can see that now?
Yep, I can see that.
Awesome. So as you can see there, there's the Benalla Business Dollars card that we will be launching very soon. Now, on each slide as well, down the bottom, you can see the whyleavetown.com/Benalla. This is basically sort of the go-to for everything about the Benalla gift card, at least from the Why Leave Town perspective. So a lot of things I'll be talking about tonight in terms of purchasing the card and participating stalls and things like that. You can go to that link, and that's sort of going to have everything you need to know about the Benalla Business Dollars as well. And we'll be adding to that over time as well. So that's going to be across each of the different slides. But before we jump into that, there we go. I was going to go click through. So just a bit about who is Why Leave Town. To start with, we are just a regionally based business ourselves. So myself and my business partner, Justin, we both grew up across the road from each other in country New South Wales, in Narrabri. And we've sort of gone in different directions after school, and sort of I went into market research. Justin does a lot in sort of the industrial supplies business. But when I sort of moved back to Narrabri, we had the idea of creating Why Leave Town, about encouraging people to just love the area they live in, and to also engage with the local businesses in their area. And from that, we did a whole heap of different things, and it eventuated, that evolved, I should say, into us creating our first gift card program in Narrabri. It was a very small program at the start, possibly around about 30 businesses. The whole idea was that we wanted people to have a local alternative to a lot of the big brand cards. So we'd go to our local post office, and there was your Bunnings gift cards and your Repco and all these other cards. None of those businesses were actually located in our actual own hometown. And so we thought we just wanted to give something where people could give a present, for example, at Christmas, and they could actually be supporting local businesses. And so that's where the program started. It's evolved several different times since then. But we did that. I think our first gift card program was 2010, but we've been doing a few other things for the first few years. It's over the next sort of 14, 15 years, we've grown quite rapidly. We now have, it's a little bit over 80 gift card programs all across Australia. Some very small programs, as small as communities of around 2,000 people. Some programs where there's over 100,000 people in a really wider community. Some going across multiple LGAs as well. So we've got quite a diverse range now of gift cards operating all across Australia, and pretty much I think in all states now as well. So at the moment, we've got coverage of around about 450 postcodes, around about 6,000, over 6,000 local businesses are involved. We've sold over 350,000 gift cards, and that's to the value of around about 26 million. So that's 26 million that's been gone back into local businesses in the communities that we support. So that's a little bit about who we are. I like to say too, we literally wrote the book on how to get people shopping locally. So my background is in market research, and when I started doing working for Waileave Town full time, one of the first things I did was actually go and do a lot of interviewing of local businesses, local chambers of commerce, councils, and consumers as well, and just to see how could we actually get people more engaged with local businesses. And that all culminated into this book I wrote a few years ago. And so that's I guess the essence of Waileave Town as well. We focus on our gift cards, but we're always looking at what are all the different ways that we can actually try and encourage people to support local businesses. That's our passion, and that's what that's why we exist pretty much. So we've actually worked with a lot of councils and chambers of commerce. They're usually our two main, I guess, customers who would go and commission this sort of our actual program. So we do that all across Australia, and we have worked with some other organisations, such as some community banks and so forth as well, to actually get our program up and running in different communities as well. So one of the big things that I always talk about is with our gift cards, it's all about creating the local multiplier effect. Now there's a bit of science, a bit of sort of art in terms of these figures, but generally speaking, I like to say that $100 spent locally has an impact of around about $180. So that means that every time someone spends money locally, that money gets reinvested into other local businesses. Now that will differ depending on where that money is spent. So if it's spent with a locally owned and operated business that gets all their goods from other local businesses, off that percentage is obviously higher. If it's spent with a local franchise, then obviously that percentage will be a bit lower. But most of the time the money will circulate around about 7 times and around about 40% each time. So that's where we get that $100 has the $180 impact. Something we also like to talk about is the social multiplier effect. So we've obviously got the financial impact of shopping locally, but there's a lot of social issues that will actually come from supporting local businesses as well. If you don't have a thriving main street or a thriving CBD, then it really sort of limits some of the social interactions people can have in a community, and that has a pretty big flow-on effect. So yes, we want to see obviously money spent locally, but more importantly, we want to see relationships and connection in communities as well. And so that's what we try and do through all the different activities we do, but mainly through our gift cards. We're trying to, I guess, kickstart that local spend, almost force that first transaction to actually go to a local business, and then hopefully that flows around several times. So that's what, I guess that's the whole crux of what of the Waileave Town concept is, trying to get that more and more of those people, more and more with locals actually spending money in local businesses. Now, the Waileave Town gift card concept, it's pretty basic in terms of how it works. I often say it's very similar to, if you think of a Westfields gift card, where you can get a Westfields gift card and you can go into Westfields shopping centre, and then you can spend it at all the different shops in that actual location. Our concept is pretty much the same in that what we do is we have one gift card, but then we lock it down to a particular area, and that card can only be spent and it can only be accepted in the participating businesses in that area. So for Benalla Business Dollars, the program, that card can only be spent in Benalla in that community. So the whole idea is every time someone purchases one of these gift cards, all the money stays local. And that's what we're trying to get each time, is trying to get more and more money spent locally. Now, I did mention before that we've got around about 80 different programs across Australia. Each of those are set up individually. And so you can't purchase, for example, a Gunnedah card and then go use it in our Dubbo program and vice versa. So each program is its own unique program, and you can only spend the card in the participating businesses linked to that card. Now, who can be involved? Well, first of all members of Benalla Business Network Inc. are invited to be a part of the program. So that's, I guess, the first requirement of the program. Other than that, it's basically any type of business can be a part of it. So any product, any service. When we first started, and I mentioned before, it was about having an alternative for things like Christmas. We possibly were more focused on the retail businesses, but we've evolved the product quite a bit over the years, and so we've found that all businesses can have some sort of success in our program. We saw a large, I guess, shift in how the program operates many years ago, when a lot of the eastern states were going through the drought period. And we saw that the card was not only used for gifting, but it was also used for relief and recovery purposes as well. And that's where we saw a pretty big shift in terms of the type of businesses that could actually get the benefit from the products from this particular card. So rather than people then using it for traditional gift style products, they were using it to pay their rates with council, do their grocery shopping, pay other bills as well. So basically the program from our point of view is open to any type of business, doesn't matter. The main thing you need to have is you need to have an actual point of sale terminal in your business. That's the first requirement. Or you need to have an online store as well. So the cards can actually be accepted, or the digital card can be accepted online as well. And so that's all you need to actually be a part of. As long as you've got that, you've got some way of actually taking those payments, then you can be a part of the program. One thing that we also get asked often is, if why would I be a part of the program? Because I've already got my own gift card program. Well, first of all, if you can lock in someone to come into your store and they want to buy your particular gift card, then of course sell them your gift card, because that's an opportunity for you to make a direct sale. However, this is to our cards are there to complement other sort of gift card programs or other individual gift card programs that already operate in your community. This is just going to give you the opportunity to have other people sort of promoting a card that can be used in your store. So again, anyone can be involved. As I've said at the start as well, we've got over 6,000 businesses pretty much covering any category you can think of. I don't think there's anything now that we haven't sort of ticked off. And now that we've got a part of it, there's obviously certain types of businesses that we see work better than others in the program. And I think there's also, as a starting point, it's always good to tick off as many of those sort of main categories. To start with, you want to have, ideally, you want to have some sort of supermarket in there, and ideally somewhere, a restaurant, newsagents, hardware, some sort of retail, clothing, hair, beauty, those things. It's almost like ticking all the boxes in terms of, if you were to give this card to someone, will they find some place where they can actually use it? So that's where you're wanting to tick off as many categories as possible in terms of having, so it's just a viable option then to give someone. But if you're a business who thinks, should I be a part of it? First and foremost, I'd say yes, be a part of it, because again, you're still part of this network. And as I said, we have seen many instances where the cards can be used in all sorts of businesses. In terms of program setup and operation, it's a pretty simple process in terms of actually getting you on board. We don't actually make any changes to your terminal or your online store or anything like that. Basically, we've set up our program, and then we're adding a list of terminals that can actually where our card will be accepted. So first and foremost, we need each business to actually register. And that registration link the chamber has, and obviously you can find it also at that link down the bottom of the page. So you register your business to be a part of the program. The registration process is pretty simple. We need just some basic information, such as business name, address, ABN, some contact details as well. That's pretty much it. We then take that information, and then we lock your terminal down through our database, which accesses a national database, very similar to, it's basically the same database when if you got a credit card and you're looking up your transaction list, and it'll show you where you've actually spent your card. We access the same database, and we use that to actually lock terminals down. In some instances, we do need to collect some extra information. If that's the case, we'll reach out to that individual business to get them to provide that to us. And sometimes we might then have to do basically a test transaction on their terminal. Most time we'll do that just doing an over the phone transaction with a blank card. That's sufficient for us to get the information we need to lock down the terminal as well. And that's pretty much the activation process. Once the terminal has been activated, then they're pretty much set up straight away to accept the card. There's no sort of delay in that. Once we've actually locked them down into our actual network, they're good to go. Cards can then be purchased by customers via the Waileave Town website. The cards themselves will cost $3. If paying by credit card, there will also be some transaction fees for the credit card. We do have options there for people to do direct deposit to avoid those fees as well. So all that gets done through the Waileave Town website. And then once someone actually has got the digital card on their phone, then they can be redeemed in store just like any other digital card. So it basically uses the tap and go function. So if you've received a digital card through your business already, it's the same process basically, where the customer can pull the phone up on the card up on their phone and just tap and go on your terminal. And most importantly, there is a payment received by businesses daily. So there's no delay in that actual payment getting to you, to that particular business. Again, it's no different to any other bank transaction that you would do. You'll only ever be charged whatever transaction fees you're charged at the moment for any other card transaction. So there's nothing additional from a Wildlivetown point of view. So it's all fairly simple from that point of view. And so what a lot of businesses would say, what's in it for me? And I just want to go through a couple of different things here. First of all, it costs nothing for you to be involved. If you are a member of the Chamber, then you've got access to the program. So it's a bit of a why not to be involved in that case, because there is no cost to you. It's basically increasing revenue for your business. So basically what we're going to be doing is creating another sort of pool of funds that you can access, but only those participating stores will be able to access those funds. So I mentioned before that our program has seen over $26 million loaded onto the cards. Now that $26 million has to be all spent back in those local 6,000 odd businesses in our network. So every time a card is loaded, as I said before, it goes back into those local businesses. So this is hopefully going to be a way to increase revenue for your business. It's also a way to increase local foot traffic. We obviously want more people shopping locally. We offer the option for the cards to be used online, but what we really love is actually people going into store and shopping with local businesses. So we want to encourage that. So I often say that using our cards almost forces someone to shop locally. So if you've got someone who's got a birthday coming up and you give them one of our gift cards, then they can't do anything but go shop locally with it. They can't go off to the city or jump online and shop somewhere else. They need to actually spend that money back into local business, or actually more importantly, go and actually visit local businesses as well. It's also a way to help other businesses around you. So what we're trying to do is create a network of businesses that are working together. Just obviously like what the Chamber is doing in itself as well, is actually creating a network of businesses who are supporting each other, who are promoting a program that's intended to get more money back into local businesses. So obviously the more businesses that are a part of it, the more you're helping the wider business network as well. And very closely related to that is actually just benefiting from any marketing that goes with that. So obviously Wildlivetown sort of will promote the program, the Chamber promotes the program. We encourage individual businesses to promote the program as well, and everyone benefits from that. And so obviously if you're a part of it, then obviously you're benefiting from that marketing as well. It also is a way to engage more with the local community. Again, just any sort of thing where you can show that you're community minded and you're doing something which is about encouraging people to support the local community, just draws you closer to that group. So we're not all operating in silos, we're there operating together in a way to create a good and strong local community. And finally, it's even just helping you grow your community. So similar to what I was talking to you before about that social multiplier effect, that it's a way to actually ensure that people have got jobs in your community. We've got businesses are staying open. You don't have a main street where there's a lot of empty stores. What we want to do, we want to see a thriving community, and hopefully this will help inject some money into the community and get people more thinking about supporting those businesses that are in obviously the local area, and hopefully that will help grow over the area overall. A little bit more about the card itself. So to start with, it's fully branded, as you can see there. It's we've got the Benalla Business Dollars there, and the whole idea is to try and sort of get that sort of local branding on the card as well. So it sort of has that. That's what we'll see quite a bit in all the marketing material. Mentioned before, it's all purchased via online. So it makes it very simple, trying to take, I guess, the burden away from local businesses in having to do too much of that work. So people can quite easily just jump on the Wildlivetown website and purchase it. We can have people obviously located outside of the community sending gifts to locals as well. And that makes it very simple. We've got there also same day delivery. Because it's a digital product, we can get the cards out very quickly. At the moment, it's not instant. There is a bit of a few sort of checks we do as well to ensure that any credit card payments and so forth are going through correctly. But it is always same day delivery. If you order a card, then that card gets sent out. You can also choose to have it sent out on a particular date as well. So if you know someone's got a birthday coming up, you can order it today and say, I want it to be sent out on the weekend, for example. And that's something we can do as well. All the spending is actually tracked within the YLeaveTown app as well. So it's quite easy to keep track of your spend on the card. A bit different to an actual physical card where we get a lot of calls even with our physical cards now where people will forget the balance of it, forget where they've actually spent it. Now they can obviously go online and check that balance as well, but often they don't. But with the digital card, it's right there in the palm of your hand, right next to it. So it'll show you exactly how much you got left on the card, and also show you where you've spent the card as well. The card can be used for online purchases, as I mentioned before, and we can do single orders, but if there's an organization who wants to send out, say, 20 cards to all their staff, we can do that as well. We can facilitate that, so that's easy to do. Now, this might be a little bit hard to see on your screen, but I just wanted to go through quickly just the actual flow of the actual purchase of the card, just so it's clear as to what that will look like. So the first step is that the customer will jump online and will make a purchase through our website. Once they do that, once we activate it from our end, an SMS will go out to that person, basically saying, hi, such and such has sent you a $100 gift card, for example, and you've got an option to also have a short message there too. So you might say, happy birthday, hope you have a great one, or anything like that. Then there's basically just details in terms of how the next sort of steps. So the customer will then, or the person receiving the card, I should say, will then click on a link, which will then take them to the YLeaveTown app. Every digital card in the market needs to actually sit in some sort of app, and that's where the YLeaveTown app comes in. So the first time someone gets sent one of these cards, they'll be automatically taken through the process of downloading the app. And once that app's downloaded, then the card will basically activate within the app itself. And then that's where you'll be able to see the card sitting in the app, and that's where you can see all the transaction history. The last part of the step, or last step to sort of go through, is actually adding that card to your digital wallet. So that's how you actually have to, when someone wants to actually spend the card just needs to be sitting in their digital wallet. Now, each of these steps in the flow happens pretty much automatically when you actually sort of click on the links as well. So it goes through each of those steps to that last part where it's actually sitting there in your digital wallet as well. And then the card's ready to actually spend.
Ash, do people have to create an account once they download the app, or it just goes straight to activation and it just sits in the app without an account?
Yeah, well, the account itself is basically just it's more a login that you'll need, which is driven by just your phone number. Yeah, so that's basically it in terms of creating an account. But you will have a particular login, which just gives you a bit of security as well in terms of once those cards are in sitting in that wallet, that you're the only one who can actually access them as well.
Yep, thank you.
Now, just getting the most out of the program, this is, I guess there's a couple of different views of looking at this, and I've sort of done it from a macro level and also a micro level as well. So I guess these are just coming from some of the success stories we've had across all our different programs over the last 15 years. So at a macro level, we've found those communities that have a lot of businesses involved have had a lot of success as well. I guess the more businesses you can get involved in your community, the more it becomes like a local currency as well. So as I've mentioned before, you want to have a card where there's lots of different options for people to actually spend the card. But also the bigger the program, the more people involved, then we definitely see that it does become more, I said, like that local currency where people will use it for all sorts of different things. So that's, I guess, the first thing, particularly at this point when we're launching the program, we want to encourage as many businesses as possible to actually sign up and get involved. And there's several examples there. Our Upper Hunter and Broken Hill programs have got over 200 businesses. Mid Coast, I think, is up around over 300 now. And we've seen a lot of success on the back of that. Another one is engaging sort of local pubs and clubs. And I say pubs and clubs because they often are usually doing their sort of weekly raffles or monthly raffles. In particular with our physical cards, at least, they've seen a lot of success in that area where these organizations are using the cards for their raffles each time. For example, the RSL in Muswellbrook, they do an order of around about, I think it's about 300 cards a month we're sending out to them, where every week they're doing all their raffles through that. The digital cards a little bit differently, but there's still lots of organizations that out there that would still benefit from using the card in that way. It would make their any sort of regular prizes or things like that they want to give out, or incentives they want to give out. Possibly, yeah, that's another way that we can actually get almost that bread and butter through the program a lot of times outside of those sort of main sort of gifting occasions. Obviously, Christmas is still our #1 time for the cards, but you want to see, all 12 months around, or all year round, that people are actually sort of using the cards in some way. And that's why engaging some of these other organizations that was really helpful. The next one there is actually just bringing the story behind the local business to life, and particularly through social media. So if you were to jump on, actually, if you looked at any of our programs at the moment, if you jumped on the Wildlife Town website, you can see the list of all the programs there. It's good even to just jump on there and actually then go and follow their Facebook pages of the different councils and chambers, just to see what they're doing in their programs, how they're actually sort of promoting it more. I've pulled out Georgetown, Parks and Albury. I think in the past, at least, they've done a really good job in actually sort of highlighting the businesses that are actually a part of the program. And that's, I guess, what you want to communicate to the wider community, that it's about supporting those businesses that do so much for the actual community. And you want to show the actual local stories as well. Another one good to check out is possibly our Moreton Money program in Moreton Bay. They're doing a lot of great work in terms of on social media, and so it's really worth sort of checking that out. It's couple of the videos they've done as well. It shows you a really great way of how you can actually bring the program to life a bit more. And the last one there is just engaging the bigger employers and organizations, a little bit similar to the engaging sort of the local pubs and clubs, but this is particularly around Christmas time. We get a lot of organizations coming to us wanting to reward their staff, for example, and rather than getting sort of the bigger sort of chain cards or the big supermarket cards, actually using the local cards can obviously be a great way that they can reward their staff at the end of the year, but also supports the wider community as well. Couple of really good examples there. Orange in particular, we had one, there's a mine out there that way, and they rewarded all 3,000 of their staff with a $150 card a year or two ago. And so that's like a $500,000 injection overnight into that Orange community. We've had a lot of examples like that, and there's a lot of programs that has been sort of the lifeblood of the program every year. Pittsworth is a great example where it's just ticked over 10 years in the program, and every year there's 3 main employees there that all order around about 150 cards. It's possibly about $40,000 to $50,000 worth of cards loaded every year consistently for the last 10 years. And again, that's just an easy injection into local businesses through those employers just rewarding their staff at the end of the year. At a micro level, from a business level, what can you do to actually help promote the program? First and foremost, just let people know that you accept the card at every opportunity. So any social media you're doing, make sure you mention that you accept the card. It becomes a pretty easy sort of social post that you just sort of set once a week or once every couple of weeks to say, yes, we accept Benalla dollars. It's a very simple post you can do. And just the more people know that you accept the card, obviously, the more you're going to have people actually coming in and using the card at your business as well. And just even just talking to your customers about the cards. So we often talk about the value of cards loaded, and that's obviously what we want to see. That 26 million through all those local businesses is a great number. However, just as important, I think, is the number of transactions. So even if someone has a $100 card, they might use that at 10 different places. Those 10 transactions are 10 opportunities for people to talk about shopping local and getting that sort of word of mouth about not only the program, but why we should be supporting local businesses. And those conversations, obviously, it's not just the person holding the card, it's the person on the other side of the counter, other people who are waiting in line or who might be overhearing it as well. So we often say at the start of a program in particular, the more cards in circulation, the better. Even if they're only just $10 cards or whatever, then that really sort of helps grow the program. So anything that you can do there to talk to your customers about using the cards, it definitely benefits not only the program, but I think a wider shop local message as well. Another simple way to get involved is just using the cards yourself as a business. An easy one if you've got staff and you're wanting to give them a birthday gift or a reward after a certain amount of time, or just simply a Christmas gift. Using the cards yourself is a great way to, again, get more of those cards in circulation, and also to just get other people seeing the cards and more money through the program. This is where my voice starts to go. And also just using social media to drive awareness of the program as well, and just show your involvement constantly through that. The more and more you can just push it through social media, I think the better. Last couple of slides. Just a bit of an example that I pulled from one of our other programs, of just of how once the program gets up and running, we can use the data to actually sort of help promote the program more. So in this particular program, we can see that the blue line shows the number of cards at different values. So the peak there is showing we've got a whole heap of $25 cards that haven't been spent yet. And the value of that is about $4,000. There's obviously higher values down the other end. So there was about 10 $200 cards, which with a high value, but obviously there's not too many of them out there. So for me, when I'm looking at this data, I'm going, well, the opportunity there is possibly around that $25 mark, because we've got still quite a few number of cards there, and it's still worth a fairly good value there. So from a marketing point of view, you might be able to take, as a business, you could take this information and then sort of join that together about telling people that you're actually part of the program. For example, just an example, if you're a restaurant, you might show that an actual good which is worth $25, and also link it up to the actual gift card as well. So there's an audience out there, a target market out there, that has actually got these $25 cards in their wallet, and they can only spend it in participating stores. So why not join those couple of things together, put a good out there at that price point, show that you accept the cards. That's just an easy way to hopefully get a big chunk of that sort of pie that's been created through the program. As I said, this is some sort of the data that we'll share once the program gets going. And it has been sort of successful in other markets where we've been able to take that and go, we know there's a bunch of cards out there at this value, so why not sort of promote the fact that, yeah, we accept the cards and you can use it at that particular price point as well. Just sort of finishing up as well, in terms of how the cards have been used, as I said at the start, we first started more in that retail space. Christmas is obviously the key time of year, but we've seen the cards be used in all sorts of different ways. As I mentioned before, that the drought recovery, we had a lot of people with great hearts in sort of metro areas sending money to rural areas and going, well, let's sort of help a farmer out, for example, in the drought periods. During that time, it was really handy that money went to, for example, a farmer who was obviously had that need, but that sort of relief or recovery went in the form of a gift card, which meant they could actually then, they had to go spend it in local businesses. So it sort of doubled the impact of that relief and recovery efforts as well. We get a lot of schools at this time of year using the cards for their end of year prizes, all the sort of normal sort of gifting occasions too, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Easter, all those different things as well. Lots of prizes, lots of things in terms of work incentives and rewards. Basically, there's been all sorts of different ways. So I guess once the program gets going, we'll be so constantly, I guess, pointing you in the direction of different ways you can promote it. And if you're a business that wants to promote it a particular way, then again, just reach out to us and we can sort of help you, create some posts or whatever that you want to do with it to obviously promote the wider program as well. So yeah, I think we're going to have a bit extra time as well. So hopefully that gives you a good understanding of what the program is and how to get involved and how it works. But I guess now we can open the floor to some Q&A if you'd like. So anyone have any questions?
With the activation, if you already have the app on your phone, is there a code you can just put in? Because I know a lot of people will get a text message with a link in it and go, I'm not touching that.
Yes, yeah. So you can basically, in that same text message, there will be an activation code, and you can go direct into the app and you can enter the code direct in. Yes.
Good.
And I think that's also that's why it's good into having that sort of personal message in the app, sorry, when you actually send the card to someone as well, the more sort of personal you can make that message, that obviously the more genuine it seems as well. I think it's also important in terms of as businesses and as a wider community, so promoting the program quite a bit. So again, it's not this random text message that people are getting, that people know about the program when they're getting it, so they've got more trust in it in that way as well. But yes, there is that code in it, so you can go straight in. Any other questions? I either covered it really well or really poorly. So based on if no other questions.
Yeah, Ash, no, I think you've covered everything like really, really well. Look, I think, once we kind of get this video out there, and try and encourage other people, like I've just written a list of businesses that I definitely think probably need to personally go and see, like the Bowls Club. I think Tomorrow Today is a foundation where they could probably use from a community perspective. I was thinking fuel stations, bottle shops, supermarkets. Like you said, you mentioned schools. Yeah, and I think there's a few organizations that for work gifts and incentives, I think it'd make really good gifts.
Yeah, definitely. And look, I think just from a starting point, it's about thinking more about what businesses we can actually get to sign up where the cards can be used. And as I mentioned, it's about making sure you tick all those categories. You've already mentioned a few there, Joel, and I've mentioned a few as well. And that's where hopefully we just get people almost organically signing up. But then there are certain ones that you might need to actually go knocking on the door to say, yes, let's get involved. And as a wider community, if you're a business who have signed up, let other businesses know as well. Because once you've ticked all those categories, I said, it just makes it more of a viable option. I know in one market we couldn't actually get any of the local supermarkets involved, and that was a major barrier then for the local bowling club to then use it for their weekly raffles, because they wanted a place for all their patrons to actually go then use the card. So that was just one example, but for you it might be another sort of type of business that you need to get involved for one particular organization then to use it. So just trying to link those sort of dots up.
I think it'd be really good for businesses that aren't in the main street to get people to go to them. So
100%.
Like we've got businesses that are all over Benalla and all over the region. And if they can have it and people can see on our website that there's these businesses, it would be a great opportunity.
Yeah, 100%.
And also to have maybe we could supply them with a little logo that they could put on their website as well, that so it's whether they're online or shop front. I think there's a few ways they could include it in their newsletters.
I think we need window stickers.
Yeah, well, we're getting
definitely window stickers.
The window stickers, you've organised those, but yeah, you're right. Just all that branding that they can use on their website would be great.
Yeah.
And just encouraging, like you said, with social media and everything. So,
and if we supply most of that to those businesses, try and make it as easzy as possible. As Ash, you've sent us social posts.
Definitely.
A logo pack.
And it's also particularly we have a lot of programs that launch around Christmas time, and they see a big boost sort of straight away because it's people jump in and obviously order Christmas gifts. Then they think that it's just a Christmas only promo. So it's also about being quite present in the new year and ongoing as well. And that's where obviously that material in store and that constant social media presence as well is really important. Just so people think, oh no, this is about long-term commitment to local businesses, not just a once-off Christmas promo.
So we might even look at some flyers that businesses could keep in their shops for those people that, aren't necessarily on social media, but they could just pick up a flyer about it.
And maybe, thank you for that, Ash. Catherine here. I love this concept. I think in terms of helping the money to stay in the community, the multiplier effect is, huge and it creates jobs, all the vacant shop stuff you mentioned, etc. too. I wondered too, you mentioned that the more cards in circulation, the better. Given that BBN are going down the digital card track at the moment, It's $3 for a digital card, is that right? When
That's right,
the
yeah.
customer signs up, or when the business signs up? How I didn't quite get that bit.
So no, that's the $3 when a customer actually purchases a card. So there's no
Okay.
cost to the business yet.
So just like if you were going through Ticketek or something like that, there's a booking fee effectively.
That's right. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So the business doesn't carry that. That's the customer.
That's right.
But that's the benefit of just going, and then they can email it to the gift recipient if they want. Like they could ask for it to be sent to them, and they send it on.
Well, it goes via SMS. So that's how it goes at the moment. So once when you purchase that card, you're basically putting in the recipient's mobile number, and that's how it gets delivered to them.
Okay. All right. Fantastic.
So if that's the cost of a digital card, if we ever sort of got around to doing a hard actual card, what would the cost be for individual cards then?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different options in that. It depends. Once you get into the physical cards, it comes down to also quantities in terms of how many you're ordering, and also the type of cards. So we've got so for a fully branded card, they're quite expensive. With the chip technology is basically a more expensive technology. We've been operating with FPOS cards in a lot of our programs for a number of years. The chip cards are about double the cost. So you're looking over $6 for a actual branded, fully branded chip card. That's on a fairly high, but that's a 5,000 card minimum order. We can do lower orders, but obviously that price goes up as well. What Wiley Town has done to help with that, we've also got a generic branded card. So it's almost like a bunch of cards that we've gone and ordered a large quantity of cards, but which we can then separate into different communities. And so that means that we can then offer it. It's closer more to the $5 a card. That those cards can then, so you can have basically, and that card, you don't have to actually have a minimum order of how many cards you're purchasing. And then the person buying the card can then, that part cost can be passed on to them as well. So you're looking around about that $5 to $6 mark for physical cards.
There's something that we can see how the digital cards take off, and look at that further.
And
Yeah,
maybe an expression of interest if there are people like the Bowls Club or the sports clubs that want to hand it out as a raffle prize and physically give it to someone.
Yeah.
Then that might be something that you could maybe have it if you want.
And this approach certainly allows you to sort of test the market a bit in terms of the interest. Because I think often people always say, yes, of course, yes, we want this, but then will they support it is another thing.
Yeah.
So if they've got a digital option there, which is at the moment the cheaper option rather than going the physical path, then you can start to say, okay, all of a sudden, if there is the local RSL or whoever who there is a barrier and they want to do 200 cards a month, and they're willing to commit to that, then also it creates the opportunity for you to say, yes, well, maybe a physical card will work here as well. So but this at least enables you to start that sort of conversation.
Yeah. We've also got quite a lot of our previous business dollars still out in circulation. There's paper ones. Is there a way that people could bring those into us and we could transfer them? Like we had the money for those sitting in a bank account.
Yep.
Is that something that we could work out with you?
Yeah, definitely. Look, that's something which it'd be no different. It's obviously you still have to be the $3 charge per card because it's basically that we basically need to create a new card and like just on that fee that's pretty much a cost that we're passing on. There are sort of costs in terms of actually creating those cards, even in the digital sense. But we can certainly do that. I had the same conversation with another community today who are doing exactly that. So yeah, it would just be a matter of not even going through the normal purchase channels. That's where if you just create a list of all those people who have current cards, and if we've got mobile numbers for each of those, then yes, we can certainly then send them out digital cards.
Fun. Thanks. Yeah, there's quite a few $1,000s I think out there that will be ready to be circulated if we.
Yep.
It'd be great to get them digitally. So
yeah, 100%. And look, and anything like that where it's a little bit outside of the norm, that's where you can just contact our team and we will work out a way to facilitate that. We've done lots of little things like that in the past as well, with again starting up new programs or programs even transitioning from our old FPOS program to the digital program, and all sorts of things like that. So yeah, that's easy to do.
Because I know people that have said to me, oh yeah, I've got some of those dollars sitting there that I haven't got around to using. So it might get a bit of that money circulating.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there an expiry date on these? Is that something that is set?
Yeah, so the expiry is 3 years
Right.
from the date when it's activated. Yeah.
It's plenty of time. And do
Yeah.
people get notified coming up?
Yeah, look, they can actually sort of go to our and register our card via our website. We are sort of chatting with our developers at the moment to get something more automated now. We've got that digital. We've obviously got all their information there. That's something which, because we'll have their phone numbers obviously. So we can we're trying to work out a way where we make it a bit more automated. At the moment, we've been since almost day one with our physical cards. We've had it. If you go through you can register your card on our website, and then that sort of triggers an automation. We're just currently looking away now to do that same thing with the digital.
Yes.
There I'm going to be pessimistic here. What is the protocol if someone comes in with a digital card and it doesn't work?
Yeah, sure. So look, first and foremost, if you can contact the Wiley Town team at that point. One of the good things with the actual digital cards, we can actually address that problem pretty quickly. Again, sort of comparing that more to our FPOS program, where the process is a lot slower in terms of actually adding terminals in. We've built a platform where every time someone does a transaction on one of our, or attempts a transaction on our card, it will send us data, which we can then use. If someone's sitting there in store and it's not working, then we can basically grab the terminal details, resolve that pretty quickly, almost instantly. If we were on, if you get us on the phone, and then we can try it. Ideally, when that customer's still in store, we can sort of resolve it there. And if there is a major problem, then there's lots of different ways that we can sort of get around it. And we've been doing this for a long time now. Our sort of main thing is to obviously look after that card holder and to sort of make sure that experience they're having is a positive one. So again, if you contact us, particularly if they're still in store, that's the best thing, so we can resolve it straight away.
So you guys have like a fault line to call?
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Yep.
And I say this as a business that's opening in the evening. Does it have extended hours, or are you guys usually there until like 5?
Yeah, look, it's only on in business hours, unfortunately, at the moment. So yeah, it'd have to be within that sort of that 9 to 5 sort of period. Any other questions?
Righty, I think for a small group, we've had quite a bit of discussion, so that's been good. And obviously, if anyone had any questions once they've watched it online, they can reach out to us and we can get an answer from you, Ash, and we can get back to them with those answers. But from now, we'll go out and start sourcing businesses that would be beneficial through the program.
Yeah,
which,
definitely.
as you said, that's all businesses.
Oh, exactly. And look, once we're through this process as well, and once the program's fully established, again, please reach out if you've got any problems, or if you want to even just sort of spitball some ideas, or you've got an idea that a concept you want to sort of explore. We're always happy to sort of have a chat, or if there's some sort of major barrier, then yeah, again, please just reach out to our team, and we're always happy to have a chat.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks for your time today, Ash. It's been really appreciated. And I think, everyone who watches this will learn a lot about the program and hopefully sign up with great joy and excitement for the program.
Excellent. I hope so too.
Thanks,
Right.
Ash.
Thanks everyone for coming.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.